I want to quickly talk to you about how to make a pitch deck for your business. Whether you have a startup or you have an established business, a pitch deck is going to really make your business, your company, look more professional. Whether you're speaking to business lenders, you're talking to investors, VC firms, or you're talking to regulators in general. Okay, so let me give you an overview of the whole pitch deck preparation conversation here. It's really important to understand that when you talk about having a pitch deck, you are trying to differentiate your business in a very competitive market. I don't care what niche you're in. I don't care what economic sector you're in. Having a pitch deck is going to differentiate you big time because it really sort of abbreviates, okay? It shortens the conversation around your business model, okay? So a pitch deck is actually a concise business presentation, typically comprising 10 to 20 slides highlighting your company's essential aspects, right? You just go straight to the point. No fluff, no actually vague ideas or no, you go straight to the point, okay? So a pitch deck is really important because this is actually your opportunity to showcase your business plan, for instance, demonstrate traction. Traction is important to actually attract and incentivize VC firms, right? And you also want to use the pitch deck to outline your roadmap for success because basically you have a vision. But has your vision gained traction on the market? This is actually the way for you to actually demonstrate that. So creating an effective pitch deck is actually both an art and a science. There is a certain methodology to really follow here, right? So your pitch deck, long story short, needs to tell your company's story, convince investors that they can make money with your venture, and do all this in under 4 minutes. Can you imagine that? 4 minutes, okay? So let me talk to you about the process here. So how do you organize your slides for maximum impact? Let's talk about your pitch deck structure. So you got to think about basically your first act, your second act, and your third act. So first act actually is your intro and status quo, right? You want to engage your audience, capture their attention, and establish the current situation or problem. And the second act actually revolves around your product and market. So you want to develop a narrative to actually build excitement about the business idea and opportunity, providing compelling numbers and insights, right? You have to really incentivize your audience. And the third act here is you have to really talk a little bit about why your company, and how much you're asking. So you want to deliver your core message about why investing in your company is a fantastic opportunity, okay? So let me now talk to you about how to create a pitch deck slide by slide. We'll cover every single slide so you have a clear idea about how to really do things properly. So first of all, let's talk about the cover slide. So your cover slide is the first thing your investors will see. Investors, business lenders, regulators, you name it, okay? So your cover slide needs to make an impact right away. So it has to include your company name, make it prominent and easy to read, a concise tagline. So use 5 to 7 words to describe what your company does, right? This should be simple and self-explanatory, okay? Don't actually complicate things from the get-go, no. For example, you can say, we help startups create winning pitch decks. And optional, you can put the presenter's name and contact details, while only sometimes necessary. Including this information can be helpful, especially if you are emailing the deck to investors later on. Okay, so that's for the cover slide. Now, how do you actually show traction in your pitch deck? So we are going to talk about the traction slide, some traction slide tips. Okay, so if you want to create an effective traction teaser slide, you want to focus on universal metrics. That's really important. Okay. So choose achievements that anyone can understand without knowing the context of your business. You want to use visuals, so present your critical metrics with precise, bold numbers and simple icons or graphics. Keep it brief, stick to let's say 3 to 4 key metrics proving that your company's success. See, the whole thing is that you want to demonstrate that your company has been successful or is going to be successful, right? So, but if you are doing all these things, make sure that you are honest It's not about actually putting blah 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 and really putting fluff. No, you want to be honest. Okay, you only include the real verifiable achievement because exaggeration can backfire if discovered. Okay, and this is not the right strategy to actually to start a conversation with lenders. Okay, or investors. So examples of traction metrics could include number of active users, year-over-year growth rate, total revenue or key sales figures, notable partnerships or clients, and industry awards or recognition. So let's now talk about your way to define the problem. So we are speaking about the problem business opportunity slide, okay? Because you want to setting up the pitch deck's context, the foundation, the background, okay? So a well-crafted problem or business opportunity slide should actually have a few key elements. So you want to clearly define the issue. You want to demonstrate market relevance, right? Why is your business model relevant in this economy, or at least in your economic sector, in your niche? You want to highlight the pain points, right? Why are your target audience currently? What is your target audience currently struggling with? You want to frame the opportunity and you want to set up the solution. Okay, this is really important. What you want to understand here is that investors need to agree with or fully understand the problem you are presenting to maintain interest in the rest of your pitch. So to keep their attention, you should really use data, right? Always use data because you want to include statistics or research that validate the problem's existence and magnitude because this adds credibility and validation to your claims and helps investors grasp the scale of the issue, right? Because if you say, listen, we think there is a problem, but investors can't really grasp the severity of the problem or the significance of the problem, that's not going to really make your pitch deck credible, okay? And you want to make it relatable, okay? Use scenarios or examples that your audience can easily understand and relate to, okay? And you want to keep it concise, keep it short, right? And you want to avoid jargon. I mean, use language that anyone can understand, regardless of their technical background, because this makes your pitch more accessible and ensure that your message resonates with a broader audience. Because basically, not all investors are tech magnates or tech wizards, right? They're pretty good when it comes to financing, but they may not be good with tech. So what about your solution slide? So your solution slide should mirror your problem slide, presenting your company's approach to addressing the issues you just outlined. This is a critical component of your pitch deck because it really serves as the bridge, if you think about it, as the bridge between the problem you have identified and your product offering, okay? So basically, you want to be concise, you want to mirror the problem, you want to highlight uniqueness, you want to use a simple language, and also, please, visual representation. Now let's talk about basically how to showcase your product in the pitch deck, okay? How it works slide. Or you also have the features and benefits slide, right? Because see, those are slides that actually sell big time, okay? So how it works slide, features and benefits slide, product details like demos, screenshots, tech infrastructure. Those are things that really sell because they make your business model really relatable. And you can also add to this section the market validation slide, the target audience slide, the business model slide, okay? So let me quickly talk to you about the most important thing here. So when I said how it works slide, this slide should clearly and concisely explain how your product or service functions, and it should concisely yet comprehensively explain your offering's core mechanics or process. Okay, this is your chance to demystify any complex aspects of your product and show how user friendly and effective it is. Okay, so you want to really you want to visualize things, you want to keep it simple, focus on the user perspective, and highlight key features. And when I say features and benefits slide, you want to focus on the benefits, you want to be specific, you want to prioritize, and you want to use precise language. And when it comes to the product details like the demo, screenshots, tech infrastructure, you want to really understand that you want to have the you want to allow basically investors to explore your offerings specifics more deeply. Okay, so depending on your product and audience, this section can include elements such as demo, videos, screenshots, or technical infrastructure. The market validation slide, you want to you this is your chance to support market demand for your product. Okay, to show evidence of that at least. Use accurate data, highlight key indicators, include social proof, and be honest. And when I said a target audience slide, you want to be specific, show understanding, use data, and explain why. The business model slide actually is pretty important because it allows you to keep things simple, use familiar models, include pricing, and highlight profitability. And the final thing is you have the roadmap slide where you are able to be realistic, highlight company milestones, and align with funding. So let's talk about the next set of slides. So how do you present the market opportunity in your pitch deck? So there are a couple of slides to really pay attention to. But I want to focus on the two important ones. So you have the go-to-market strategy slide, so the GTM strategy slide, and then you have the market size, the TAM slide. Okay, so TAM stands for total addressable market. So this is actually a pretty good metric in the sense that it really contextualizes your offering, contextualizes your ask. Okay, so investors can have a clear idea about where they're putting their money. So the go-to-market strategy slide outlines your plan for bringing your product to market and acquiring customers. This slide should detail the specific channels, tactics, and approaches you will use to reach your target audience and drive the adoption of your product or service. Okay, so basically you want to focus on critical channels, you want to show traction, you want to be specific, and you want to align with the audience. Okay, so this is kind of important because you want to ensure that your strategies make sense for your target market. So what about the market size? So what sometimes you'll hear some investors talk about the total addressable market. So this is actually a pretty critical slide in the sense that you want to show investors the potential size of your business. And so you want to present a precise and well-researched estimate of your potential market size. Okay, and sometimes a lot of entrepreneurs break this down into a total addressable market, TAM, serviceable available market, the SAM, and the serviceable obtainable market, the SOM. So you have a TAM, SAM, and SOM. Okay, so you want to, if you want to succeed on this slide, you want to use the TAM, SAM, SOM approach, right? Show the total addressable market, serviceable available market, and serviceable obtainable market. Provide sources, so cite credible sources for your market size estimate. You want to set attainable goals, right? So your roadmap should actually be realistic. You want to showcase ambitious yet achievable milestones. So this demonstrates your vision and understanding of the challenges in reaching your objectives. And you want to use visuals, okay? Don't try to complicate the whole pitch deck with words and words and words. No, you want to use visuals, use charts or graphics to make the market size easy to understand. So if you want to make a pitch deck a very winning pitch deck, think about your startup too. Think about your startup competitors, your competition. Okay, so you have a competitor slide, your team slide, your secret sauce, competitive advantages slide. Okay, this is important. So when I say your competitor slide, here you want to focus on key differentiators. The whole idea here is not just to bash your competitors saying, well, they're bad or they're not doing well enough and our team is the best, blah, 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 blah. No, you want to focus on key differentiators. What are you doing, or what are you trying to do? What will you do that's different from what they're doing? Okay, you want to use a simple format. So a comparison table or a quadrant chart can effectively visualize competitive positioning. You want to include indirect competitors too, right? Don't just focus on your direct key competitors. No, because the thing is that when you come into a market, the same way you come into a market, others are thinking about coming into the market too, or they are already in the market in a disguised, quote unquote, disguised manner. Okay, so don't just focus on direct competitors. Consider alternative solutions to the problem you're solving, and you want to avoid negativity, right? That's what I told you a little earlier. Don't bash your customer. Don't bash your competitors. No, focus on your strengths rather than competitors' weaknesses. Okay. So that's for the competitors slide. What about the team slide? So this is your opportunity to showcase the expertise and experience of your founding team and key personnel, including advisors too. Okay, if you have advisors who are well experienced, well networked, well connected, you want to really talk about that here, right? So you want to highlight relevant experience. You want to show diversity. You want to include advisors, and you want to keep it concise. So when I say show diversity, you want to demonstrate a mix of skills and backgrounds that complement each other, right? That's what you want to have. You want to show that complement, like that complementing aspect of things. So what about the secret sauce or competitive advantages slide? So basically, this is a slide that allows you to show why your company is unique and why you are positioned to succeed where others might fail, right? So you want to be specific. Don't just claim to be better or faster. Provide concrete examples or metrics. You want to focus on sustainable advantages. That's an important element to really think about. You want to align with customer needs. You want to include intellectual property, and you want to demonstrate traction. Traction is kind of important in the sense that it allows you to have a clear idea about what works and what could work in the future. Next, I want to really talk about the conclusion. So how do you end a pitch deck? Here, when you think about a pitch deck, at the end you want to have the ask, okay, how much you need. So the fundraising ask and financial projections. So the financial projections slide actually is pretty good. It's pretty important because it gives investors insight into your expected growth and path to profitability. So typically, this slide should include revenue, expenses, and profitability projections. So depending on your business model, you should also include other relevant metrics such as user acquisition costs, lifetime value of customers, and monthly recurring revenue, your MRR. Some startups actually talk about ARR, so your annual recurring revenue. So you just want to make sure when you have financial projections, make them realistic, okay? And those projections should actually align with the narrative you've built throughout your pitch. They should reflect the market opportunity you've identified, the effectiveness of your solution, and the strength of your go-to market strategy. So the whole idea here is what? You are looking for credibility. You're looking for validation. Okay, so you want to be realistic. Your projections should be ambitious but grounded in reality. You want to show key metrics. You want to include revenue, expenses, and profitability at a minimum. You want to provide context. So what happens here is that you want to explain key assumptions behind your projections. You want to use visuals. So a chart or graph can make the data more accessible to digest, okay? And you want to highlight milestones. So because see, the thing is you want to contextualize the conversation for investors, okay? So point out significant events like when you expect to break even. And you also have the fundraising or the ask slide. So here we're speaking about the funding amount, the valuation, if you're comfortable sharing it, include your target valuation or valuation range, use of funds, milestones, the timeline, the future funding, and the current investor interest. Again, you want to be specific, explain the use of funds, outline how you plan to use the investment, show milestones, demonstrate value, and be prepared to answer all questions that investors might actually have for you. So as an epilogue into this conversation, I spoke to you about how to make a pitch deck. Okay, I give you the step-by-step guide. Okay, and I give you real examples too. So I showed you the overview, the process, and now the epilogue. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.